In 2003, a movie called Kiamat was released, starring Ajay Devgan. In this movie, there's a prison with an underground network of tunnels. If someone looks at it from above, it appears to be a normal place. However, beneath the surface, this prison becomes extremely dangerous because you can exit from those tunnels at any time, from anywhere. Now imagine a city with a similar network of tunnels beneath it. How dangerous that could be. These tunnels wouldn't be detectable by satellites or radar. This is the type of network that Hamas has constructed. If you're thinking of these tunnels as some old-fashioned passages lit by torches, you're mistaken. These are high-tech tunnels where people can live for weeks with all the necessary facilities. Some of these tunnels even lead directly into Israel. Hamas has spread this network throughout Gaza, a strip of land 40 kilometers long and 10 kilometers wide, home to about 2 million people. From above, Gaza looks like a regular city, with homes, shops, schools, hospitals, mosques, and offices. But underneath Gaza lies a different world of terror. Hamas claims to have built an underground tunnel network extending approximately 500 kilometers with access points located in buildings, schools, and mosques, meaning they can enter these tunnels from any of these locations and exit anywhere else. It is believed that some of these tunnels lead directly to Israel. In fact, reports suggest that Hamas used such a tunnel in the October 7 attack on Israel, reaching Israeli territory underground. Some reports indicate that the exit of a tunnel was discovered near kibbutz, where dozens of Israeli civilians were killed. That's why in today's video, I'm going to tell you the story of these Gaza tunnels and explain how they're used and why they've made Israel hesitant to launch a ground assault in Gaza. The tunnel system in Gaza started developing after 2001. At that time, Israel had control over the Gaza Strip, and extremist Palestinian organizations were trying everything to drive Israel out. But Israel's advanced defense systems made all efforts futile. To counter this, they began digging tunnels. They would fill these tunnels with explosives and try to blow up Israeli border posts. However, this process had many challenges. It required a lot of effort, but yielded very little result. Imagine digging a tunnel for days to reach an Israeli post, filling it with explosives, but then only managing to bring down a single post. It was a lot of effort for a small result. Around 2003, extremist organizations dug more tunnels near the Egyptian border. These were used to smuggle essential goods, weapons, and ammunition. In 2004, Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon announced Israel's withdrawal from Gaza, which was completed by September 15, 2005. After Israel left Gaza, the region was free, but a conflict broke out between Fatah and Hamas. In 2007, Hamas gained control of Gaza, and from that point on, the tunnel network expanded rapidly. But even before that, a major event shook Israel. In 2006, Palestinian extremists dug a tunnel from Gaza into Israel. Armed militants used this tunnel to cross behind the Israeli border post. They infiltrated into Israel, killed 2 Israeli soldiers, wounded another, and took 1 soldier hostage, bringing him back through the tunnel. That soldier's name was Gilad Shalit. I mention this name because in 2011, Israel released 1,000 prisoners in exchange for this one man. Coming back to Hamas-controlled Gaza, let's take a closer look. The total length of the Gaza Strip is about 40 kilometers, and its width is about 10 kilometers, making its total area around 400 square kilometers. Hamas has constructed a tunnel network beneath Gaza that stretches approximately 500 kilometers, with access points spread throughout the area. However, most of the tunnels are hidden in densely populated areas of Gaza. Often, the access points for these tunnels are in schools, mosques, hospitals, and other civilian buildings. These tunnels lie about 30 meters below the ground, and on several occasions, Hamas has used United Nations facilities to operate these tunnels. The first time this network was discovered was during the 2014 Operation Protective Edge, when weapons were found in UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Works Agency, schools on 3 separate occasions. On June 1, 2017, UNRWA announced that Hamas's attack tunnels had been discovered under 2 of its schools. In the ongoing conflict, another Hamas tunnel was recently discovered beneath a middle school in Noon, exposing a dangerous situation for UNRWA workers and students. Hamas was condemned for endangering lives. One of the main reasons for choosing schools and mosques as access points is that Hamas intentionally selects locations where the probability of an Israeli Defense Forces (IDF) attack is low. It is nearly impossible to locate tunnels in such places. Hamas uses these tunnels for weapons storage, bunkers, command centers, and transporting ammunition. You might be surprised to learn that, at one time, there were around 1,000 tunnels on the Gaza-Egypt border. However, a turning point came in 2010. These tunnels were widely used for smuggling, but in 2010, Israel allowed the import of most goods, reducing the need for smuggling. As a result, Egypt also closed down most of the tunnels. In 2013, the IDF discovered a 1.6 kilometers long and 18-meter deep tunnel with walls and ceilings made of proper concrete, extending from Gaza to the Israeli town of Kibbutz. On July 17, 2014, Hamas militants used a similar tunnel to reach an Israeli community in Sufa, armed with weapons. 4 days later, disguised in IDF uniforms, terrorists infiltrated through another tunnel, but the Israeli Defense Forces neutralized them. During the 2014 Operation Protective Edge, Israel destroyed about 30 cross-border tunnels. In 2021, Israel claimed to have destroyed over 100 Hamas tunnels, though Hamas responded that this was less than 5% of their total network. This statement caused alarm, and rightfully so. On October 7, 2023, Hamas mobilized a large number of rocket launchers through these tunnels to launch an attack on Israel, completely bypassing the intelligence of agencies like Mossad. According to experts, Hamas continues to regularly use this extensive network of tunnels under Gaza, and these tunnels also serve as an effective defense against Israeli attacks. They are designed to be comfortable for long-term habitation, with facilities like electricity and lighting. Hamas has become highly skilled at constructing these tunnels, which are spacious enough for people to walk around comfortably. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, claim that Hamas has misused financial aid and hundreds of tons of cement, meant for rebuilding homes destroyed in the war, to construct these tunnels. Israel transfers a large quantity of construction materials into Gaza for civilian projects, but Hamas has used this to build their underground city of terror. Each tunnel requires around 350 trucks of building supplies, which could otherwise be used to build 86 homes, 7 mosques, 6 schools, and 19 medical clinics. The cost of each tunnel is approximately $3 million. Since the 2014 Operation Protective Edge, Hamas's civil affairs budget has decreased, but their military budget has risen from 15% to 55%. On average, Hamas has invested over $150 million in its tunnel-building network. To counter this threat, Israel has a special unit called the Yahalom Unit. Before the 2014 operation, Hamas had built several cross-border tunnels, which posed 2 significant challenges for Israel. First, the war had moved underground, making radar and dome defense systems ineffective. To address this growing threat, Israel doubled the number of soldiers in its Yahalom unit, as it was clear that they could not sit back and wait. The Yahalom Combat Engineering Corps is an elite commando unit specializing in finding, clearing, and destroying tunnels. According to Colonel Ron, the commander of the Yahalom unit, the biggest challenge of tunnel warfare is that the enemy leaves no trace above ground. Hamas has been known to destroy the very foundations of its tunnels to harm IDF officers, a tactic that was also used during the Vietnam War. The IDF's ground and air forces conduct regular search and attack operations, but these tunnels are often well hidden beneath civilian structures or in open areas. For this reason, any tunnel that is discovered is carefully measured and tested before it is demolished, according to Israel. However, there is another perspective that claims Israel indiscriminately fires missiles throughout Gaza based only on suspicion, causing the deaths of innocent civilians. Why is Israel so afraid of these tunnels? Let's discuss the fear that has held Israel back from launching a full-scale attack on Gaza. The Israeli military claims that it is targeting the extensive tunnel network beneath Gaza. According to Israeli military spokespersons, ordinary civilians live on the surface of Gaza, while Hamas operates from the underground layers. Israel insists it is only targeting these underground areas. However, this is not easy. During the 2021 attacks, 3 residential buildings collapsed in Gaza due to Israeli strikes, killing 42 people. At the time, the Israeli military stated that their target was the underground tunnels, but many questions were raised. The presence of this tunnel network also limits the effectiveness of Israel's technology and intelligence network. If Israel occupies Gaza, Hamas could fill these tunnels with explosives, making them deadly traps. Militants could also launch sudden attacks by emerging from these tunnels. The Israeli Air Force could use GBU-28 bunker buster bombs to destroy the tunnels once they are identified. However, this leaves behind massive craters. According to former U.S. military officer Bradley Bowman, a large number of Hamas militants could survive airstrikes because these tunnels are stocked with food and supplies, which is another reason why Israel fears these tunnels. There is another perspective to consider. Some argue that Israel is using this fear as a pretext for its attacks on Gaza, where more innocent people, including women and children, are dying than Hamas militants. In this view, Israel is justifying the deaths of innocent civilians by citing its fear of the tunnels. The deaths of innocent people have led many countries to prepare for potential actions against Israel, with Iran being one of them. Israel and Iran already have a long-standing enmity, but before Iran can act, Israel is seeking support from other nations by claiming that it is targeting Hamas's tunnel network out of fear. So, what do you think? Is Israel genuinely afraid of Hamas's tunnel network, or is it using this fear to justify its actions? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share it, and subscribe to the channel before you go.